Hello, I am going to do a quick talk about the character of Lorne Malvo in the show Fargo. Um, if I sound a little bit like perplexed, it's because I done quite a good um, I just done a recording basically, and my stupid little camera thing that I'm holding didn't record, so it's just like I get straight back into it now, and it may sound a little bit more blah, 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 to the point, but yeah. I'm a little bit apprehensive. I'm worried this camera's going to suddenly decide to stop itself or whatever because this stupid thing just decided to stop on me, which is kind of annoying. So here we go. Now, what have I got? The deeper themes. Right, before I start, my whole thing really with this is uh, angels and demons, and I'm aware that it's not literal. I don't think it is as literal as that. It's kind of tongue in cheek, but I'm just looking for deeper stuff that could arguably have been the writer's intention. Could not be, but it's fun, and I found it quite enjoyable, and I enjoyed that element to it. I found it made the show a little bit more fun, and I noticed a lot of stuff. And if I sound like I'm just reading and a bit monotone, that is because I am reading from my laptop. I may go off the laptop occasionally just to clarify what I'm saying. And yeah, you ready? Let's do this. Get a nice cup of tea on the go, and here we go. Why did I just say have a nice cup of tea? Like I'm telling you what to do. I would anyway, because it just helps, doesn't it? But you might have just had one, so Here we go. Here we go. Deeper themes of angels and demons in Fargo season 1. The hitman, Lorne Malvo, appears to be like a demon. He appears to... One more thing really quickly. If you've already heard this, I know loads of people do analysis stuff. I'm not copying anyone. It's accidental. I haven't, as far as I'm aware, copied anyone. But like I say, if I have, it's unintentional. And yeah, tongue-in-cheek. Here we go. So, the hitman Lorne Malvo appears to be like a demon. He appears to wander the earth as a demon that is unconcerned and untouchable by the barriers of human rules and constraint. There is firstly his lack of concern for the law and its consequences. He drags a man to his death by his tie from an office in front of a huge crowd in sight of a CCTV. He walks past 2 FBI detectives with a machine gun and wipes out what seems to be a whole office floor of people and disappears. To add to this, there is the confrontation with the police officer, like he is connected to a higher power. Without showing a gun or making any literal threats, he manages to scare the police officer and force him to leave him alone. This touches on another aspect of the character and his demoniac aspects. The eyes are the window to the soul. The police officer later explains that he had a bad feeling about the guy, that he had these dark eyes. Malvo is later apprehended by the neighbour for the police officer. He's later apprehended by the neighbour of the police officer who he had the mild confrontation with. This neighbour, the neighbour being the guy who lives just across the road, who he sees from the spotlight, and they end up having their little sit down. This neighbour appears like the opposite to Malvo. He is almost like an angel. He is seen to live across the road from the policeman and is almost like a guardian angel. When he sees the officer in his living room from the building across the room, it's almost as if he could be sent to help him. He spontaneously makes conversation across the building and states, "I'll come to you." He then sits with the officer, and this time the officer is caught between worlds. He's stuck in a dilemma of whether to report the confrontation with the murder suspect, in this case the demon, and potentially risk his job. The neighbour / angel tells him a story of how you cannot please everyone and you can't change the nature of things, and all you can do is what you believe is right or you'll have nothing left. This meeting with the neighbour enables the police officer to push forward and commit to pursuing the arrest of the demon, and arguably keep his soul, keep following the light. An interesting and well done scene is between Malvo and the neighbour. Before I get into that, so it's the idea of the light and the dark and demoniac features, but it's almost like the characters are in a crossroads between the light and the dark, and these people are there to sort of sway them either side to a degree as well. Hence the neighbour, and he's like the officer is caught in between. An interesting and well done scene is between Malvo and the neighbour, the demon and the angel. While sat in the car outside the officer's apartment, the neighbour apprehends him. He explains how it's a nice area with nice people and they don't want people like him lurking around. He appears to know who he is and what he is before he's even spoke to him, like he knows a higher force is at work, a collision of light and dark, good and evil. The neighbour explains that he can tell he is evil. He has evil eyes. His eyes are again mentioned. He says, "You have dark eyes." The hitman then exposes his demonic nature and makes subtle threatening implications about the man's children. The Malvo character has an added layer of demonic power by his ability to shift among social groups and become a human chameleon in order to do his work. While he's first seen, he is brought into the police station, and to add to this demonic element, he is taking on the role of a priest. He appears to enjoy mocking the police officer, who knows what this is all a feud, and fooling everyone else. It's as if he's mocking the police officer's caring nature and his attempt to restore order and peace. I'll say that bit again because I said it a bit fast and it didn't even make sense to myself. I do know what I meant. You may not have done. So, the police. This is first seen when he's brought into the police station, and to add to the demonic element, he is taking on the role of a priest. He appears to enjoy mocking the police officer, because the police officer knows that it's all a fraud and fooling everyone else. It's as if he is mocking the police officer's caring nature and his attempt to restore order and peace. He later does this social switch by taking on the role of a dentist and appearing to have started a new life with fake friends and even a girlfriend, all of which he casually shoots dead at once as if he was scratching an itch. He appears to be unattached to human emotion, empathy or love in any way. He is like a human snake. Then there is the whole religious aspect of the series, mainly around the mental trickery of the king that believed God intervened with him finding the money. I just had something come to me just then which I didn't think of before. Bear with me a moment, this is going to kind of ruin the flow, but I need to try and remember what I just thought. What's the idea? Oh, that was it, right. So back to the demon thing. I was thinking of The Exorcist, and there's a scene in The Exorcist where the priest is on his way to go to do the exorcism, and a random person says, a homeless person says to the priest, "Could you spare $1 for an altar boy, father, an old altar boy or something?" It's like, "You spare $1 for an old altar boy, father." He says it like, "Father," and he ignores him. But then later on, when he's doing the exorcism, you can hear, "Spare $1 for an alibi, father," and then there's this grin from the little girl which is possessed, and the devil's grinning at him, and there's this like fear factor of an omnipresence. Is the devil everywhere, or is he literally able to shapeshift between people, or is it the sense of evil, etc.? And I was just thinking that hence he picked the priest thing. It's, almost like he's, maybe the person who was Malvo, like never existed. Maybe he was just a normal man, and then he got possessed, and hence his different ability to just change who he is, because he's just an empty vessel, possessed. Just a little thought that came to me. Anyway, mental trickery of the king, I believe, intervened. So the part with the king and the mental trickery, finding the money. The story of Eve with the apple and the snake's trickery comes to mind. It's as if Malvo is the snake. He is the embodiment of evil. He later gives weight to this when he is ordering some apple pie. He says to the waitress after he eats it, "I haven't had pie like that since the Garden of Eden." Animalistic worldview. While I want to stick to the demonic theme of the character's personality, I feel I can't avoid other aspects of his personality. He also appears to have a robotic and machine-like feel, almost like a Terminator. This is evident in his disregard for the law and social restraints, and his at times freakish strength that appears to go against his small frame and structure. Of course, it could be the possessed demon thing, but just to keep it, could also be, seen as a Terminator type thing. There is the way he deals with pain also. While seemingly in some sort of distant pain, he seems to be unaffected. There is, of course, the animalistic nature of his personality and his whole view on the world, which he repeatedly mentions. This could be associated to his snake-like demonic persona, but that is just a thought. He describes the world as a chaotic pit where it's survival of the fittest. There is no time for mercy, and if you slip up, you get washed away and crushed for your weakness. He seems to have a belief that humans are savage, and that he seems to have this belief that humans are savage and that they are not far removed from their caveman ancestors. He appears to see the world and people in this prehistoric view. It is almost as if he is the snake from the dawn of time and has seen man's true nature and dislikes love and empathy and sees it as fake and believes that deep down humans are evil and savage animals like him. While he's seemingly a social chameleon with no soul, able to dip in and out of personalities and social groups, he also sees himself as the only real person, as if the ruthless animal law that he follows is the real human way. As if the ruthless animal law code that he follows is the real human way to live, and what is considered the norm is a pretense. He also utilizes this sense of love that people have to his advantage. When he's in a tight situation and cornered like a cornered animal, he reveals his true animalistic side and evil snake nature and threatens those people love the most, their children. There is a scene in the snow that he can sense people's evil. There is a scene in the show that shows he can sense people's evil, as if he is a demon that can feel the presence of other demons or the potential demonic qualities in the spirit of evil. This is clear with Lester. He appears to help Lester with the removal of his wife and the killing of the officer and the killing of the bully for no reason. Payment didn't seem to be in it, and he even says to his employer on the phone that it's personal. He could almost be seen as a kind of recruitment process, as if he's seen the evil in Lester and has taken it upon himself to make him a demon. After his brief encounter with Lorne, Lester appears to be possessed like a different person. He kills his wife. Then, like Lorne, he exploits people's emotion by putting on a fake persona and even manipulates his own nephew to force him to imprison his own brother. He appears to become a fully pledged demon by the end when he sacrifices his wife by getting her to wear a coat, thusly being